Today education stream, and we'll be going over multiple different tools that I'm using and kind of show what I've been able to do with each of these. Today we'll be covering Notion, and then next week I have Airtable on my list, and then we'll go a little bit deeper in the Apple ecosystem, and who knows at that point. So today is Notion, and we're gonna start off with my dashboard here. So essentially, this is my Notion dashboard. And as you can see, I've been able to pull different data from Airtable. And here, you can just embed these things. It's pretty straightforward. And I have like this navigation view, which helps when you are on mobile, because then you can kind of navigate more quickly instead of like scrolling, because like on mobile this takes quite some time. And then I have most of my things hidden here in these toggles. So when I open up this toggle, you see here are multiple databases. And the thing of Notion, and Notion just not just introduced that, but introduced that more recently, that you can have different views of databases within one linked database. So when we look here at consumption, we see this is a link to the consumption database. And when we check out score, it's also the consumption database. So both of these views link to that database, and that's why you have like a little arrow here. If we look, for example, at celebrations, this links to a different database, and like the same with insights. So to quickly explain what these are, insights are just a way of me on recording insights, and I can also do these things like Rella. So these are all the things that happened yesterday. So if we go, or if I were to go and Notion idea. So now I can just speak into my Apple Watch or into my AirPods or into my phone, and the text will be put it into the database. So this may take some time. I may have to reload it, but we're just going to check on this a little bit later. So these are kind of like the insights. Then we have the consumption on like, oh, these are the things, for example, like I'm currently playing that. MVU, this is done. So let's move this out. Currently on these, I didn't want to continue that, but I recently started Ready Player One, and I actually completed that yesterday. So this is kind of how I keep track on the things that I consume. So this is a book, and before I set status on done, let me add singularity to that, because it's kind of like about the future. And that's why I have like the sub-area singularity. So later on, I know, oh, okay, this goes in that area, and I can categorize it. So I thought that was like pretty decent, but more like along, it wasn't like the best thing. It was pretty good, but I've like, I don't know, there are other things. And then I link the year to that. I had the celebration yesterday, and that was post painting, and also Marlene's birthday. So this is kind of, how did I say this? Birthday? Okay, we'll check this later. So now I've been able to link these. Release I have to check later, image as well, and there is no overarching thing. If I were, for example, like thinking of a new Marvel movie, could be linking like Marvel in general in here, and then I know, oh, okay, this is related to that, or kind of has this as a parent, and is more of a child in that way. And then I also have things that are like still ongoing, so still like on Witcher, playing Smash Ultimate, Beat Saber, like these things, or like series that have not been completed but I want to complete. And this is just a nice quick overview, also things that are planned. So I kind of know what I want to do at what point. And then similarly to that, I have also ranked these things. So previously I said like, okay, Ready Player One is more of a B thing. So here we have all the books that are like rated S, and then I can scroll down for A, and then eventually I could load more to go into the B realms. And this is like for books, programs, notes, fiction, movies, series, games. Actually, let me quickly open each of these so you can at least see the S and A's. So these were the programs. Notes are a little bit more tricky. I'm just like used everything for that. So for Mindville University, all of these were notes, but I could probably create another category of just like talks or something like that. Then we have fictional games, fictional books. So these go up to lots of awesome books actually. And then quickly the movies. And it's just like nice to have like, oh, I haven't watched, for example, Brother Bear in so long, and I rated this as S Supreme. So this with that I can be like, oh, I probably would want to rewatch that. And here I can also see when I watched it the last time. So 2019, Interstellar I watched 21. And this way I kind of also know when I watch these. And yeah, I've been more or less like the closer it becomes to the present, the more accurate I have been with the tracking. Similar to series, we have some S ranking series here, and then going down to A. Also, like by the way, if you guys have watched something that I have rated as S, or maybe said something else needs to be S that wasn't S, go and like let me know. So that's the cool thing about a stream. I'm not sure if you've been like watching lots of streams before. Neither have I, but it's a little bit more interactive. So yeah, that's why we can like actually communicate in that way. So here are the games that I've been playing. So still on Elden Ring. I don't know. You just don't have the time to play as much, but also because my home office is still like in. I've been more building the thing where I'll be playing at some point than actually playing it at the moment. And then also we have the celebrations, which are like bigger parties that I went to, or like bigger events that I'd like to specifically highlight because something important wasn't happening there, or things like that. And for example, I was talking about the post Marlene birthday, and I wanted to connect Ready Player One to that. So I can do that from either one. Um, so so now I have two Ready Player Ones. So let me check why I have two. So one is already in progress and one is planned. Oh, okay. So yeah, basic misunderstanding. Because this is planned already, and I set this as singularity. Let's actually delete this. Delete. So now we have one Ready Player One. And this is kind of how I just like keep all the things together. And we also need like a red book here. Book. There we go. So, and we can set this as done. Perfect. And this is, by the way, something that Notion introduced recently, that you have like these pop-ups from the side, and I could also change it to like a center peak, or I can change it to a full page. But for these kind of situations, I like the side peak because now I can, like, first of all, adjust these, and also just like close these and work on both though. So I find this very helpful. And while we're in celebrations, I think we can like check out the one that I had yesterday, which was a monthly. And for this, I'm actually gonna open, no, let's not do the full page, let's do a center peak. So here, these are how I schedule my timely celebrations. So the tags can be monthly, quarterly, a level up, yearly, or a birthday. So this is how I more or less categorize them. We see a location. I had 24 insights. I had an altered state with orange haze, and I watched Ready Player One. So these are all information attached to this celebration, and they are all connected. So this arrow here means they are connected to a different database. So for example, I can also connect it to journal. I think this was yesterday. I think we're gonna be at 30 something. Are we 30 yet? 22, 31, I think. Yeah, we're in the 31st week, but we'll check whether this is accurate later on anyways. So then I have like usually some general preparations. I don't really use these all that much anymore. Some suggestions, I just like, hey, just like watch Ready Player One. Because yesterday was also like a smaller one and I didn't have as much time to prepare. It was more like spontaneous. And then like I had like some activities. I say when it's created, the start, the end, the things that I did throughout, and then also like a link to my schedule. So it was yesterday. I could go deeper into that, but I think we'll just cover Airtable next week. This may be a little bit much. And here in like the Spotify, I have also been able to, I could link specific playlists, but this is not as complete as I would like it to be. I think this is much more exciting anyways, because as I was saying, I have 24 insights. Yeah, well, I do enjoy the consumption. And I think like you can learn a lot from what you consume as well. Like most of the content that I consume that is fictional, I feel like there's always like a lesson behind that. And yeah, you can also explain things once you're like deeper into fiction. So I think I need some form of message notification. So this is something that I can improve upon. So Notion idea. Make sure that you get a notification when there is a new comment within the chat. What is a celebration for you? A celebration for me is something where I'm just like, oh, let's stop the insight. There we go. A celebration for me is a bigger event. So it can be either scheduled in a way that it's happening like on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, and then I specifically take the time to celebrate what I have been able to do in the past month or in the past quarter. So these are set celebrations. And then I have smaller celebrations and I call them highlights. And actually we can be a little bit more specific here because here are certain templates. So I have a timely. Ooh, I did not choose. Let's put an hourglass in here. So here are different templates for different kind of celebrations. So timely is happening either on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, or on a yearly basis. And these are a little bit more scheduled because I know they're coming up and I plan for them in a way. It's like, okay, the end of August or like the end of July is almost here. I'm kind of halfway through Ready Player One. Let me time it so I can listen to the finale at the celebration then. And it becomes a little bit more conscious in that way. And then a highlight is usually something like a big event that is happening. And these could be anything from like having had a big breakthrough or kind of did a very cool activity or something. And then similar to that would be a shared highlight when I actually collaborate with someone on planning something. So a highlight is usually me just hanging out with friends, having a good time. But it's not to the point where I'm like, okay, let's like have a packing list. Let's plan on what we want to do. So these would be just a highlight. And a shared highlight is when I would like give someone access to a page and say, okay, like we only have a limited amount of time and we want to make the most out of that. So this would be a shared highlight. Yeah. You in general, like I also found like when you don't take the time to celebrate, and you kind of reach the peak, you're just seeing the next peak instead of actually like embracing being there and be like, nice. And actually enjoying the view, because like it took some time to get up the mountain, and just focusing on the next peak can grind you down quite a bit. So these are like the things that, so to go back to the post painting, to go a little bit more in depth in here. Here we have certain ideas that I had, and these were ideas that were just like, okay, with Notion idea, or I type them in here as well. So I could just like add a new one, and then this would be a new insight. And as you see, this is automatically connected to celebration. So if I press Shift and Enter, like these are forced in that way because there's a filter in place, and this filter says where celebration contains post painting. So if I add something, Notion automatically assumes, oh, because I add something, he would want this connection. And I'm gonna delete these because that would like mess up my thing. And when I kind of go through these, and I haven't done this on purpose as much, I would give them all like a sub error. So stream on Tuesday, on Thursday, and also make it as an activity before you have a date with Lisa, and then you have to leave off for the day. So this is more of like just a description thing. So I'm just gonna archive this. It's not really something like, it's like, oh yeah, okay, nice reminder, or kind of like, I want to write these things down. And then go through life in Notion on Tuesday by going through reflection, and then also how you write one. So this is literally what we're doing. So I'm gonna archive this as well. And then do the trace of the game where you can teleport because of movement. Is room partner you can master the dress or teleport. Okay, so this is a little bit gibberish. So maybe I was like talking too quickly, or maybe there was some background noise. But I still remember like what was the gist of that, and it was kind of connected to Ready Player One. Do I actually make this connection now? So if I were to be like super particular, and as you see, I'm not usually that particular, I could now connect this to Ready Player One because I had that insight while listening to Ready Player One. And there we go. So if I wanted to, I could do it like that, but this isn't even like a default option. So what that means is basically to the VR game to simplify movement, tracer blinks. So this is basically what I meant, but at the time I wasn't able to like clearly formulate that. So I'm going to delete this and keep that and say, okay, I'm going to connect this to, and I think like it's a little bit bugged, so I'm going to open this as a full thing, because now I can actually type. Before I was only able to do one letter. So this would go under entertainment, because like it's a game, and then like a second sub area would be singularity, because it's connected to virtual reality. So this is kind of how I go through my things to Ready Player One, but do current pop culture, write this one. Oh yeah, so here I had the thought on like writing my own book, and for the ones that are not familiar with Ready Player One, it's essentially it plays in the future where this one guy was able to like create a whole virtual world with like multiple other worlds within them, and he has a lot of pop culture references from the 80s and the 90s in there. But I'm not sure if he didn't include like stuff like Star Wars. He did include some Lord of the Rings, but not really Star Wars. So I thought the book was written a little bit too early, because virtual reality is kind of just happening now. So the pop culture references required to kind of go in there would probably be more along the lines of like nowish. So I thought of just like rewriting that a little bit. So this would be under contribution, because in a way this would be like a product, but also under entertainment. this is not really something I'm like super passionate about. Oh, by the way, so I can also put a rarity on these things. And as you see, when I put like a rarity 3 on this, it disappears because down here they are categorized like, oh, these are like the things I archive, these are the rarities. I'm not going to go through like all 21 now because this would like take some time, maybe later-ish, but this is kind of how I go through my insights and I categorize them. And then we can like also quickly check out the insights on like, here we have legendary, rare, all archives and descriptions. So I have 2,000 archived and roughly 100 legendary. So with these, I kind of keep track on all the things that I want to do. And I very quickly can estimate like what's happening. Okay. So back to the dashboard though. And here we went through the celebrations. And something that I actually wanted to do is go through my reflection. So here I have my journal, and again, this is a linked database with different views. So currently we are looking at the view from journal, where I'm basically see the days from the last week. So also you see that I haven't been like super consistent over the last couple of days. I haven't really done a journal entry since last Friday because, well, things are just busy and I'll have to catch up on these. But I just wanted to show how I do this in general. So I would have like here date, the date copy. So because that's one of the issues I have with Notion is you cannot have a primary, like I can only have a title as a primary key. I cannot have a formula because with a formula I wouldn't need this step in between. But for example, if I were to add like a new thing, like the primary field is always empty, and then I need to copy these and paste them in here. That's not what I wanted. So I copy these and paste them in here. But yeah, this is kind of like, it's okay. It's not like the worst thing, but it's like slightly annoying. Anyways, here I have the journal, and then I take track on like, okay, how healthy did I feel, how productive did I feel, and how happy was I. And then I also connect it to certain habits. So for example, I know that I did yoga today, and then I would kind of like have to go into my schedule and check like what I did at what time, to quickly just like give a teaser because I actually wanted to do this next week. But here is my schedule, and then I check. It's like, oh, okay, what did I do on Wednesday? Oh, okay, I did yoga on Wednesday, and then I like go down, like, okay, Wednesday yoga already checked, and then kind of like this helps. It's just like a memory crutch in that way, and I'm much like it just increases my accuracy and I don't have to like tab back and forth with that. Then moving on to the weeks, I do something similar because now we essentially just zooming out on my life. So you were just able to see the days, and now we are at the week altitude. I'm not sure if altitude is the right word. But here I usually write like the 3 biggest things throughout the week, a challenge that I had, and then a lesson that I learned. And then like we can go even deeper in these, because when I open, for example, this week, we have like the schedule and then like a more detailed description of the week. And this is also true for the month, but the month looks a little bit different, and I actually haven't done the month of July as of now. So I wanted to show how this looks like. So there are, again, multiple ways on how to get there. And this is actually one of my favorite sentences. There's more than one way to do that. So to go in here, I could open July, or because July is a month, I could also open up July in here. And it's like still the same record in that way. So if you open that, this is the default view that is just being generated. And to quickly show how this happens, is for if I wanted to generate the view for like the August now, I would just press on monthly, and then it like automatically creates this template. So I guess I could have left this in, but I usually like to keep track on when I actually do set this. So for July, we can check here. I can again write out my week and what happened throughout the week a little bit more in detail, and then with the month as well. So not going to do this right now because it would probably be kind of boring just watching me write my schedule and my month. But with these quests here, and this is the difference between like a weekly and a monthly, is that I also have these bigger quests. And here the quests are shown throughout the whole year. And these are the 3 big things that happened in the month. So similarly to that, we can zoom even further out and check out what are the 3 big things that happened in the quarter. And this, I more or less started that in 21, like the actual reflection, and we can like just quickly, okay, I actually haven't done this for Q1 of 21, but I think I have it in Q2. There we go. So here we have my week, my month, and then I was so fucking dedicated and had like, for every area I wrote like a little bit of something on what was happening. And this is the September, so it looks like a little bit different already. And I just like to see how this progress. And by the way, you can also like go up and down with these arrow keys here. So here, this is how I scheduled the week in like end of December, and then let's go this year, and this is more or less the thing that you've already seen. So I haven't changed much here. And then we also have some reflection down here that are within that span of the month. I kind of want to hide this though. Reflection. How do I guess Winamp stream. No. So here we can just hide this in here. Am I happy about this? How this looks? Yeah, kind of. So yeah, that's kind of how like the quarter looks like. And then we can even zoom to the year, and at this point you kind of know what has been happening. Like there are 3 highlights again, and here the difference though is instead of like being in reflection, here we were always in the same database. Now we switch databases to years, because previously in the celebrations we were connecting things to like the actual year. If you doesn't show up here, but like there is a connection to the year, I promise. And here we also see a connection to the level. So we see I've been at level 1 up until 2019, and then I started leveling at 2020. And I'm going to explain quickly on how this works as well. But just like highlights where I've been traveling, and then I can also like go in the year and see, okay, what were the levels, travels, journals, consumption, purchases, like even more detail. Let's actually, let's do this full page. So we can also check out like my quests, and this is again connected to Airtable, and we're going to go through Airtable next week and explain on how I connected all these things a little bit. And here you see all of the bigger quests that I've been able to like do, or let's actually make this a little bit bigger. So it's just like a nice way to actually visually go through the things that you've been doing. Similar to reflection, I think I don't have to go over these anymore because essentially that's what we just did. Then the celebrations that were happening throughout 21, grouped within like quarters, and then also the consumption that I was just consuming throughout this year. So I only read 5 books in 21, Usually I try to get like one book a month, but yeah, I'm kind of moving away from that again. I did a bit more programs and did play quite a few games actually. Nice. Oh yeah, I still got like just got started with VR in the beginning of 21, and like this is something I would obviously know, but I wouldn't have it as closely to my fingertips. And then also my ideas that I had, like okay, what were the most dominant ideas throughout like the first quarter, and we have some archives here because by revisiting the notes or the insights, I decided like okay, resource schedule 10 hours per area for quest habits and rewards. Yeah, I kind of made this redundant because it didn't really work as I intended to, but at some point I thought this was a very important insight, and I still like to see that. And this is like everything connected to the year. Let's actually go back though, because now let me quickly try to explain the levels and what the levels mean. So starting in 2020, and you actually see the Airtable symbol. So that's when I got started with Airtable. And before that, though, I was using Google Spreadsheets to. Can I actually? No, I'm not gonna look that up. That takes some time now. But I was like using that to schedule my day, and in a way, I try to complete 3 tasks in every area. And for every task I completed, I got 1 point. And with these points I gathered, I said, okay, like once I reach 1000 points, I level up. And the value of each completed task changed over the years, and I adjusted it so it's kind of balanced. And this is also how I more or less, this is the closest thing that I've actually done to programming and like game designing. And like I actually really enjoyed that, and I think I want to get back into that more. But at the moment, I've been just like so focused on like creating content and setting everything up. But I think I'll be doing more of that in the future. But anyways, I was kind of designing this system to level up by completing tasks, and by completing quests, I got points. With these points, I leveled up. And with each level up, there also came like a reward. So this is a reward that I knew was happening because I was at some point I will just level up, but it's also something I have to do for that. And you can also think of a celebration as a reward, because the celebration is how do I say, uh it's like a mini reward or like a smaller reward, and then the level up is like a bigger reward. And if we go back to the celebrations, we actually see that I had a level up on the 23rd of July, which was also the closing party of MVU, which I connected here. So this is kind of like an even higher celebration in that way. But I have to earn that by completing the tasks. And then I can also check, oh, okay, what did my life look like when I was level 7? So I have like a quick note here, and let's close the quest for now. Let's actually do center peak. So I have a quick, very much triggered that like Grammarly saying this is wrong. Anyways, I quickly just wrote out what my level 7 looked like, and then again connected it to the quests and the Airtable. So I know, oh, okay, these were the quests or the projects that I was working on. So like trying to spin a volleyball on my finger, watching Demon Slayers, reading Karma, going like trip to visit my sister and Aaron, like there's Aaron. And yeah, I just like being able to like go back in time and really acknowledge the work that you have done already. And I think like the past is almost, I think ultimately I'd say the future is more important, but I'm also very futuristic centered. But this helps to kind of balance me. And when I'm at a point where I'm just like having a bad day or even a bad week, I can always go through these and be like, oh yeah, like 1 year ago, I was at this point, which is like I had very different problems, like much smaller problems at that time. And I was like, huh, okay, well, this isn't actually like this big of a thing because I've dealt with much more problematic things in my past already. And if I haven't, it was like, oh, cool, like new challenge. So I always try to reframe things in a positive state. So yeah, that's kind of the reflection. And we still have 15 minutes to go. The question is, how do we spend these 15 minutes now? Because there are still multiple things that we could explore. I think I'm just gonna go through the rest of my dashboard and just like chat about the things that I've set up. Here, the reflection is essentially very similar to my own, but like also like similar to the monthly reflection, but also with my family. So my sister, my dad, and my mom kind of write down the things or the three big things within the month, and then we can look back and it's like, ah, funny, last year you were still working on this project and now you don't even think about it, but you're all worried about this new one, or for example, stuff like that. Just nice way of going back. And I think I actually want to connect this with pictures, and I had this idea at some point. So this is like another way to do the insights, and we can actually check whether the insights are connected to that now. So there we go. So so now I can just speak into my Apple Watch or into my AirPods, and was the first thing that I actually did. I'm going to delete that because it's unnecessary. And here, make sure that you get the notification when someone comments on stream. And another idea that I just had was to include more pictures in the reflection. So I already know that this would be part of identity, so I might as well do that. And this would be part of contribution, so we might as well do that. And yeah, this is kind of how my ideas are happening. Let's hide this again though. And by the way, just something quickly that I'd like to mention. So not sure if this still works here. It doesn't. Let's do this for a new one actually. So if I were to open this and say this is just like a regular highlight, and then it generates this, and as you see, there's like this recent thing here. So with that, I can only see the insights that I had recently, and after 15 minutes, this will like shift back to like an old version, and then the recent, like it's not gonna be like, I don't have to scroll as much as I do here now, but only because I'm in that celebration at this point. So let's actually delete this again. Works beautifully. So kind of forgot the shortcut on how to close the toggle. Yeah, so then we also have the habits, and as I was saying here in the reflection on the days, we have here a habit list on like just things that I did throughout the day. And then here it actually keeps track on how often I did said habits. So I've been meditating more than I did yoga, and did yoga more than I did journaling. And then kind of in fourth place, these are kind of close. And then like it was piano, volleyball, playing games, going to the sauna, stuff like that. And I just like, actually I did watch the sunrise on the 27th of July, I think. But in 22, why doesn't it show up? Oh, because it's written differently. So July 27th, I think. Is that correct? What day is July 27th? And now I can like quickly say, oh, okay. No, that's not July 20th. It was actually 23rd. Okay. So let's connect July 23rd. There we go. And we can also like check in this now and see, oh, okay, So this was my level 8 element party. And I was very healthy, wasn't as productive, but very happy. So through these, I can like quickly access everything in that way. Haven't really been cooking or dreaming or biking. So there are still some things that are still on the habit list that I haven't been able to like be as consistent. There are also things that I kind of start paused. Actually, this is active again, but other things are kind of paused. And then there are also things that I plan to do. Technically, this would be paused because I already know how to do that. There we go. So yeah, I think it's fair enough to consider them as paused. Now let's actually review the active ones, because let's put dreaming on paused, biking. See, so here we have the stream, so we can already add today, July, no, it's August 2nd, right? August 3rd. The 21st, thank you. Yeah. Oh, we don't even have the August 3rd yet. So, this day, August 2nd. There we go. So it's actually August. So we can put, there we go. Now streaming bumped up, and that's kind of why I love databases. And then I also have like workout and piano and dreams and networking up here, but this isn't as, well, it's still work in progress. And like all the other things are kind of done and they're working, and these are still a little more experimental. Similar to like here cooking and purchases. These are, let's not go into that. But we have like a future thing here, and I actually don't know why this Prezi isn't loading. Try logging in. No, that can't be it. So I'll try to fix this soon, but technically there should be like a visual representation of these, and this is kind of like my future vision. But I think considering this doesn't work, I'll save that up for some later time. So yeah, I don't think it makes sense to go much deeper into anything else, and I think I'll just like end up the rest chatting. So yeah, so that was kind of like the first education stream, deeper into Notion. Quite glad that this works so easily, with just like setting up the Mac, and yeah, I'm quite excited to do this. So next week I'll be on vacation, and I'll like actually do that on vacation now with the Airtable thing. And then the week after that, I should be able to do this in the home office. So this would be when I'm talking about Apple, I think. So that's kind of the plan. And then next Thursday we have the first gaming stream, and I don't think I'll be able to like finish the home office until then. So I will probably stream in my room, and I'll set up a beamer there and actually try to stream with the MacBook and on the Switch. So nice, a whirlwind of information, but I got some ideas. Thanks. Well, you're very welcome, Sam. Marcel, sorry. I like, it's, you know how confusing that is, that your last name is Sam? Like, yeah. Yeah, so glad you get something out of that. And if you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. So yeah, probably will be playing something on the Switch to test out how this works in my room. So I know the internet connection isn't as good there, so I'll see how this goes. And I think I'll be playing Zelda Breath of the Wild to kind of explore this whole open world aspect. So yeah, quite excited for that. And then in the future, in terms of like the gaming stream will always be on Thursday, and I have like either a single player planned or like single player being like usually role playing game. So thinking of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Witcher. So you guys who have seen the series, the game is much better than the series. Also, Triss looks a lot like I really don't like how they. Anyways, I'm going too deep, and I think that's part of the education, the gaming stream. Then, it will be well, obviously less educational on Thursdays and a little bit more chill. We'll also have a little bit more time, and how I set up the education is kind of like 1 hour, because at some point, like as you said, there's just a whirlwind of information. At some point, you cannot really process everything anymore. So yeah, I'm still experimenting with the time so far. I think an hour is kind of decent, especially if we have some like chit chat in the beginning. And then with the gaming, we'll have a little bit more time. I think no tech. Yeah, I currently set it from 8 to 10, so we would have 2 hours to like actually get into a game and like play that. It takes a little bit more time, so I think that kind of works. And then there's also the holistic stream, which happens on the first of every month. And technically, yesterday was the first of every month, but yeah, that just didn't happen at all because like there was so many things going on. I think I'll move this to next Sunday, because then I may be in the home office, and this would be like a nice way to like present everything and kind of tease things there. So I have things planned to go there maybe 4 hours. I'm not sure if I'm stretching that, but like by looking at other streamers, 4 hours is kind of like actually the average almost on like how long people stream. And I know I can fill up these 4 hours. I just don't know like if people are actually watching someone for just 4 hours. So yeah, I guess I'll be experimenting with that quite a bit. And we definitely have like plenty of things to do during the holistic stream. It's a little bit like more of a review on what happened last month, and I go a little bit more into details, um, maybe go into some rambles, and also plenty of opportunity to just ask questions, go deeper, play some games, whatever I'm feeling up to at that point, or if any nice suggestions come in, I'm obviously considering that as well. And yeah, these are kind of like the streams. Also, announcement on Thursday, I'll like the next podcast is launching. So like I did the first area on body, and that launched like in March or April, and then I realized, oh okay, if I want to be consistent, I need to produce a few podcasts ahead of time. And then also like with Mindful University, there was a lot of things going on. So this Thursday, Mind will be released. I still have to figure out whether I want to release all 3 episodes at once or do them on a weekly basis. But yeah, the Mind podcast will go live there, and also the Mind Twitter thread, which I've been prepared as well. So yeah, this is kind of the deal at the moment, and I'm quite excited to see how this goes in the future. Like I still have to write on my bachelor thesis, but I think I have all the content at this stage where I can just like produce these things in the background, and like the streams are just things that I would do anyways. Like they're just fun things that I like to do. So I might as well thought like, hey, maybe someone is also interested in like learning something while I do all these things. So yeah, that was the education stream. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I'd love to see you next week again for education, or if you're interested, next Thursday for the gaming. So until then, remember to master your